Mabuhay! I'm Brian Mona.
Good day, everyone. I'm Espineda Kathleen.
Good day, everyone. My name is Giancarlo Gestre.
Hello everyone, I'm Luis Angelo Giang.
Hi, a pleasant day to everyone. My name is Amana Gonzalez Cubao.
Hi, my name is Gutom Joanna Marie.
My name is Danica Loren de la Cruz.
Hello everyone, I am Christine May Sehana and
Good morning everyone, I'm Menes Alexa Maris.
Good day to all of you. I am Corpus Quezal-An, BSTM 6A.
Good morning everyone, I am Angelica Monteverde from TM6A.
Good day everyone. My name is Patricia Ann Perez Pinlac from TM6A.
Greetings, everyone. Let me introduce myself. I'm Villar Brian May Alexi.
Good day everyone, I'm Richibel Ventura.
Mabuhay! I am Julian Gaing, a student of Professor Kiko from the class of TM6A. And this is my group. We will be tackling about what is political law. I hope that you will be able to learn something from me and my group mates. And without further ado, let's get started. And to start off, I will be defining what is political law. What is political law? Political law is a branch of public law that deals with the organization and operations of the governmental organs of the state, and it defines the relations of the state and with the inhabitants of its territory. Another definition is political law or political activity law is an established legal practice encompassing the intersections of politics and law. What is tourism law? Tourism law is an exclusive field of laws that combines basic government laws with rules particular to the travel and hospitality industries. The state declares tourism as an indispensable element of the national economy and an industry of national interest and importance, which must be harnessed as an engine of socio-economic growth and in cultural affirmation to generate investment, foreign exchange, and employment, and to continue to mold an enhanced sense of national pride for Filipinos.
Political law comprises voting rights law, election law, campaign finance law, laws governing lobbying and lobbyists, open government laws, legislative and executive branch ethic codes, legislative procedure, administrative procedure, constitutional law, and legislative and regulatory drafting. Political law are applied primarily to government officials, candidates, advocacy group, lobbyists, businesses, non-profit organization, and trade unions. And that's how we define political law.
A constitution is the system of beliefs and laws by which a country, state, or organization is governed. In the constitution, we have the preamble, articles, and amendment. The Philippines is a unitary presidential constitutional republic, with the President of the Philippines acting as both the head of the state and head of the government. Under the 1987 Constitution, the Philippine government follows tripartite structure, namely the legislative, executive, and judiciary, all the three of which are primary source of law.
According to the Government PH, the legislative branch is authorized to make laws, alter, and repeal them through the power vested in the Philippine Congress. This institution is divided into the Senate and the House of Representatives. The legislative branch enacts legislation, confirms or rejects presidential appointments, and has the authority to declare war. This branch includes Congress, the Senate and the House of Representatives, and several agencies that provide support services to the Congress. The Senate is composed of 24 senators who are elected at large by the qualified voters in the Philippines. The House of Representatives is composed of about 250 members elected from legislative districts in the provinces, cities, and municipal cities, representatives elected through a party-list systems of registered national, regional, and sectoral parties or organizations. The party list representatives shall constitute 20% of the total numbers representatives, including those under the party list. For those consecutive terms, after ratification of the Constitution, one half of the seats allocated to the party list representatives shall be filed, as provided by the law, by selection or election from the labor, poor, peasant, urban poor, indigenous people or cultural communities, women, youth, and such other sectors may be provided by the law, except the religious sector. Thank you, everyone, and you may now listen to the other presenter.
I'm going to talk about the executive branch of the Philippines. The executive branch carries out and enforces the laws. First, the executive branch is headed by the president as both as the state and the head of the government, as also the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. The president is elected by the popular vote of the people and will have a term of 6 years. The president may appoint or dismiss his or her members whom he or she presides over. The executive seat is administered officially from Malacanang Place. Also, the official residence of the president in Manila. The president may no longer run for re-election unless he or she becomes president through constitutional succession and has served for no more than 4 years as a president. The second highest official is the vice president. That is the first in line for succession. Should be the president to resign, be impeached, or die in the office. The president will appoint any member of the Congress, usually a party member, as the new vice president. The appointment will be validated by a 3 of the Congress voting separately.
Hello everyone. So I'll be talking about one of the branches of the important bodies of the government, which is the Judicial Branch of the Philippines. It is made up of Supreme Court and lower courts. The Judicial Branch interprets the meaning of laws, apply laws to individual cases, and decides if laws violate the Constitution. The judicial power shall be vested in one Supreme Court and in such lower courts as may be established by laws. The judiciary of the Philippines consists of the Supreme Court, which is established in the Constitution, and 3 levels of lower courts, which are established through law by the Congress of the Philippines. It is composed of the Chief Justice and ex officio chairman, the Secretary of the Justice and representative of Congress as ex officio members, and a representative of the integrated bar, a professor of law, a retired member of the Supreme Court, and a representative of the private sector as members. That's all, everyone. Thank you.
Hi, today I am going to discuss the first 2 elements of state paradise, which are the population or the people, and the other one is the territory. So what is the importance of population and land? So population and land is the starting point of any study of men in his organized groups. So it is the people who make the state. So without people, without the population, there can be none. Before we can create a state, the number of population and the number of the people in a country must be large enough to create a state and sustain it. So the population is very essential because without the population, without the people in the country will never become a state. The other element will be the territory. So the land, water, the airspace within the defined territorial area comprise the territory of the state. Because without the people and the territory, there will be no state. The state geographical limit, its rivers and lakes, the natural resources it has, and the airspace above. Generally, the territorial limits extend to a distance of 3 miles of the sea from the coast. For the continuation of the 2 elements, it will be discussed by Ms. Ligutom. Thank you.
Territory. Are you familiar with the concept of territory? Without a definite territory, there can be no state. People require the land to survive and organize socially and politically. It's worth remembering that a state's territory encompasses land, water, air, and space as well. And that a state functions as a political and legal community of human people must be carried out first and foremost inside that area. It is a geographical territory owned and governed by a government or country to exercise state sovereignty. Of course, citizenship requires the possession of the land. No exact number can be determined for the state's area, just as there are no precise amount of its people. Sovereignty. Sovereignty is the state's fourth and most vital component. The term sovereignty refers to an ultimate and final authority with no legal authority above or beyond it. It can be found in power to rule and enact laws based on a political truth that cannot be explained solely legally. Internal sovereignty and external sovereignty are two sides of the same coin. The term internal sovereignty refers to the state's authority over all of its citizens and organizations. On the other hand, external sovereignty refers to the state's independence from foreign or external influence. The terms sovereignty and independence are frequently interchanged.
The Constitution of the Philippines is the supreme law of the Philippines. The Constitution is currently in effect, was enacted in 1987 during the administration of President Corazon C. Aquino. It was popularly known as the 1987 Constitution. The 1987 Constitution of the Republic of the Philippines, Article 1. The national territory comprises the Philippine archipelago with all the islands and water embraced therein, and all the other territories over the Philippines was sovereignty or jurisdiction, consisting of its terrestrial, fluvial, aerial domains, including its territorial sea, the seabed, the subsoil, the insular shelves, and the other submarine areas. The waters around, between, and the connecting islands of the archipelago, regardless of their breadth and dimensions, form part of the interval waters of the Philippines. Territory is defined as a fixed portion of the surface of the earth on which the state settles and over which it is a supreme authority. The components of a territory of the state are the terrestrial, fluvial, maritime, and aerial domains. Under the Article 1, the national territory can be divided into two parts. First is the Philippine archipelago, and the second is all other territories within the Philippine jurisdiction.
Why inbound tourism is important. Inbound tourism covers all international tourist traffic entering a country. For you, inbound tourism gives an opportunity to be a part of this, to diversity your markets and access new areas of business that may balance out regular domestic business patterns. Inbound tourism is the act of someone traveling to a country other than that of where they live for the purpose of tourism. Many countries around the world rely on inbound tourism. Inbound tourism is often seasonal, meaning that so many destinations will have evident peak, shoulder, and low seasons. This is often dependent on weather condition. For example, sun or snow, and school and public holidays. The most widely utilized definition of tourism proposed by the World Trade Organization, WTO, and United States UN Nation Statistics Division in 1994 prescribes that in order to qualify as a tourist, one must travel and remain in a place outside of their usual residential environment for not more than one consecutive year for leisure, business, or other purposes.
Next is the outbound tourism. It comprises the activities of residents of a given country traveling to and staying in places outside their country, of residents and outside their usual environment for not more than 12 consecutive months for leisure, business, and other purposes. Example is visiting an overseas country.
Let's talk about domestic tourism. So let's first define what is domestic. Domestic means existing or occurring inside a particular country. Or it generally means relating to someone's family, home, or home country. While tourism comprises the activities of persons traveling to and staying in places outside their usual environment for leisure, business, or other purposes. So if we combine those two, we have now the domestic tourism, where it is a travel within your own nation, comprises the activities of residents of given country traveling to and staying in places inside their residential country but outside their usual environment for leisure, business, or other purposes. And those people who engage themselves in this kind of activity are called domestic tourists, where it refers to tourists who travels within their own country, not foreign or international. And that's all for domestic tourism. Thank you so much.
The Department of Tourism was established on May 11, 1973. It started as a private initiative to promote the Philippines as a major travel destination. The Philippine Tourist and Travel Association was organized in 1950. In 1956, the Board of Travel and Tourist Industry was created by Philippine Congress, and in 1973 Constitution, the Department of Tourism was renamed as Ministry of Tourism. In 1986, under Executive Order Number 120 and 120-A, signed by President Corazon Aquino, the DOT was reorganized and the Convention Bureau was renamed the Philippine Convention and Visitors Corporation, and the Intramuros Administration was attached, previously being under the defunct Ministry of Human Settlements. In 2003, the Department of Tourism initiated of its own most successful tourism promotion project, WOW Philippines, under Secretary and now Senator Richard Gordon. Now, the Department Executive of DOT is Bernadette Romulo Puyat, Secretary.
Okay, so the goal of travel laws, according to United Nations World Tourism Organizations, are also known as UNWTO, is to provide a legal structure for the proper growth and control of tourism operations. This, in theory, will help conserve natural resources while also preserving cultural practices. Companies and individuals who travel obtain basic legal protection as a bonus. Tourism laws are a set of state, federal, and international laws that govern the travel industry's various aspects and duties. For instance, travel law may involve anything from hospitality to employment to public health regulations. Certain developing countries have not only a weak travel infrastructure but offer a zero resources or protection to non-local visitors. Understandably, popular countries also struggle to monitor and enforce laws to protect tourists because of the sheer number of visitors and unethical businesses people who target tourists. Every state has their own laws regarding required consumer disclosure notices. This could involve potential risks and limitations of liability.
A major role of the government is to support tourism. This includes providing infrastructure, developing tourist attractions and experiences, supporting festivals and events, and implementing campaigns to promote tourism. Additionally, the government also formulates tourism policies to meet the needs of the foreign and domestic travelers.
The Philippines' most popular surfing destination is now ready to welcome back visitors after Odette devastation. The government of the Philippines made significant efforts to protect people and infrastructure, leveraging the investment made since the typhoon. The government is working to provide assistance to residents of Siargao and other typhoon-hit areas. Task Force Build Back Better or TFBBB has stepped up rehabilitation efforts in provinces affected by the typhoon. TFBBB was created by virtue of Executive Order 120 issued by President Rodrigo Duterte. It is tasked to undertake post-disaster rehabilitation and recovery of typhoon-hit areas. It reflects that the President has the power to declare the rehabilitation of a certain destination into a given point of time for the betterment of tourism. The Department of Tourism or DOT shall be the primary government agency charged with the responsibility to encourage, promote, and develop tourism as a major socio-economic activity to generate foreign currency and employment, and to spread the benefits of tourism to both private and public sector. In a statement, the tourism agency said it is already conducting rapid assessment and gathering information on the devastation of Odette to tourist destinations like Siargao, so that it could come up with a rehabilitation and recovery plan. Also, they create the Siargao Tourism Rehabilitation Commission that would streamline and oversee relief, recovery, and rehabilitation operation within the island, which will act as the overall central coordinating body of all government agencies, non-government organizations, and affected communities in the implementation and monitoring of rehabilitation and recovery program of the island province.
Republic Act 9593, also known as the Tourism Act of 2009, was recently enacted in May 12, 2009. The law is considered as Omnibus Tourism Code in the Philippines. Its general provision stated in Section 1 is to harness the potential of tourism as an engine of socio-economic growth and cultural affirmation to generate investment, foreign exchange and employment, and to continue to mold an enhanced sense of national pride for all the Filipinos. The state's perspective of tourism, as with the rest of the other countries' experience and plans, is to see through direct contribution on job creation, foreign exchange generation, and stimulation of large and usually foreign investments. The purpose of this paper is to examine the new law RA 9593 of tourism poverty reduction from the context of the local governments in the Philippines.
Thank you everyone for listening, and again we are Group 1 from TM6A. Vamos Tourism!